Welcome back to OrgZoo Instant Insight series. Today we're going to explore something that's a little bit different, which we can call MindFLEX. Everyone knows about mindset, right? You have to have a mindset. What is your frame of mind on something? The problem is that in the modern world, we have to be much more flexible of mind than to be stuck on one way of thinking about something. And even more importantly, what MindFLEX does is to say, there's a whole range of things that you need to keep in your mind as parallel thoughts whilst you're going through a creative or an innovation cycle. So as you are going through an iteration of design thinking or any sort of creative process or even any sort of prioritization process, you miss opportunities if you haven't got at least part of your mind focused on a number of different ways of thinking. So parallel thinking at the same time, whilst you may be focused in one area. So for example, let's have a look at a cycle. A cycle starts with a challenge and inputs. It goes around through one iteration of a cycle to give you some outputs and outcomes. These may then become the inputs to the next cycle as you go around again. For example, you may go around and end up with a prototype, and then that prototype becomes the input for the next cycle of innovation. As we go through, your frame of mind, the way that you're viewing things, at the beginning of a cycle, there's a lot of anticipation and inspiration about what might be possible, and we're collaborating on that. But there's not a lot of innovation at this point. The innovation comes as a result of people collaborating and sharing ideas and anticipating different possibilities. And then with a little bit of perspiration and hard work, reflection, prioritizing, the co-creation and innovation starts. It triggers from the reactions between the people across each of these. So the amount of collaboration that's happening is fairly consistent, gets a little bit less at the end. The amount of anticipation that's happening starts broad and comes around and around. This is what gives the creativity to the new ideas, but as they get developed and reflected upon in here, you're now working on the new thing rather than what might be. So you shift your level of brain activity as you go through, and this is not just one cycle, it's a spiral, because when you start with one set of inputs, you go all the way around through here, you get outputs and outcomes, you're now at a higher level than you were before. It's from that higher level that you can go through the next cycle. So we go through an upward spiral, making more and more productive material as we go. People are quite linear in their thinking. They like a process. Just give me the 3 steps or the 7 habits or whatever it is. Give me the things that I have to do. But the world is not a series of steps. These things are all highly interdependent. So if you combine anticipation and inspiration, you trigger imagination. If you combine inspiration and collaboration, you get ideation. And then you put a bit of hard work into it, you get initiation and generation. So these things are all interdependent with each other. So don't think linearly, think in a complex way and in a network ecosystem of things coming together in order for you to get these things. As you go through, you are actually harmonizing your mindset. So there is a little more anticipation than collaboration at the first point that was shown. As you go through, the balance of these changes, but you want to keep them all going in your mind at the same time to varying degrees in order to spot that little thing that everyone's going to miss, because you're so busy prioritizing something, there may be something that you didn't anticipate plop out that could become a co-created activity. There's lots of questions that you might want to ask about this. You can just pause the screen here and think about the kinds of questions and statements that you might make when you're in different stages or different mindsets or in mind frames, because you are running them in parallel. So what you can do with this is extremely powerful. If you can harmonize your MindFLEX, keep things open rather than shut down, you keep a flow through action cycles that form a spiral, you can be extremely powerful in what you can achieve. So think about what your action spirals are and how you can improve your collaboration, your co-creation, and your innovation through the way that you interact with each other. Thank you.